We're joined by Michigan Congressman Fred Upton. He's chairman of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Welcome to Newsmax again, Representative.
Oh, it's always Fred. Nice to be with you.
Let's start with an extension of the so-called payroll tax holiday. Speaker John Boehner attached to it a requirement that the Keystone oil pipeline is fast-tracked. Your views, please.
Well, of course, we support this. This is in essence the same, almost the same bill that our committee reported out and passed on the House floor this last summer that required the president to make a decision by November 1st. The Senate never took it up. So what this bill does now, it requires the president again to make a decision within 60 days of this bill reaching his desk. In other words, review it again. There are a lot of us that are very concerned that when the president pulled back on Keystone, that not only is he turning his back on 20,000 direct jobs that are going to be added because of this measure, but we also know press reports indicate earlier this morning that in fact Iran is planning to conduct exercises to close off the Straits of Hormuz. If that happens, what happens? The price of oil worldwide dramatically goes up. We have to be prepared for something like that. And what this will do with the construction of the Keystone Pipeline, we'll be able to reduce our imports by as much as 1 million barrels a day and have them replenished in essence with our friends the Canadians to the north by that same magnitude with the construction of this pipeline, which will in fact add jobs, refinery jobs and others across our country.
Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi refers to this as a poison pill. Keystone wouldn't cost taxpayers a dime. Why do you think Democrats are fighting it, like Pelosi and President Obama?
Well, you know, the unions support this. As we've seen some national polling on this. It's maybe a 4-to-1 issue for Americans who understand this. This is a private pipeline. They'll comply with all the new standards. And by the way, we just passed a bill earlier this week, which with strong bipartisan support for even better standards for pipelines. It's something that we'll be able to offset foreign oil from coming here by using the Canadian oil. And regardless, the Canadians are gonna develop this oil resource up in Alberta. They're either going to send it here or they're going to send it to China. I'd rather have them send it here where we can actually refine it with our jobs here. But it's really not a good. This decision has been on the president's desk now and the State Department's desk for nearly 3 years.
So where is the opposition coming from?
Well, those that are against fossil fuels are against it, wanting to raise the price, I guess you could say, of fossil fuels as well. But it is, you know, we need more oil than what we produce here. We have to rely on other countries for oil. Canada is one of our largest trading partners. They're a major supplier of oil to this country. They've been able to develop oil from oil sands in Alberta, and it is an area where they're going to be producing perhaps as many as 4 million barrels a day before the end of the decade. They'd like to send us 1 million barrels that we can actually refine, U.S. refineries can do here. So for a lot of us, it's a win-win. It's reduce our reliance on oil outside of North America and provides really a steady flow of oil that our consumers are going to be able to use for a long time.
You know, tax cuts of any kind are generally not high on the agenda of Democrats. What's going on here? Is this something of a trap with the election coming up?
If we don't extend the current payroll tax deduction, you're going to see a tax hike for every working American family. For a family that earns $50,000 a year, it's a $1,000 tax hike that will occur if we don't extend this. For a family that earns $100,000, it's $2,000. So this was put into place a year ago. It expires the end of the month. So it'll be an automatic tax hike, money out of people's working families' pockets if it's not extended. Now, one of the things that we're doing in this legislation that we're considering this afternoon is we're making sure that we pay for it. We're going to make sure that the money is still going to be there to go to the Social Security Trust Fund. It's going to be paid for with a pay freeze on all government employees, including members of Congress, and a whole number of different things so that it in fact does not add to the deficit. It's a very important provision that's part of this bill.
Now, Harry Reid says the legislation is DOA in the Senate because of that Keystone Pipeline provision. What do you say to that?
Well, a couple things that I'd like to say. We're anxious to see what the Senate's going to pass. You know, we're moving first. I'm not sure exactly what version the Senate's going to take up. Traditionally, you got that one body, the House, passing one bill, the Senate passing a different one. They go to conference, you work things out. We've not seen any details of a Senate package at all in terms of what they're going to do. But as it relates to Keystone, yes, we're going to make the president act on this again. He's able to take this provision out. He's able to say, no, we don't want it within 60 days of enactment. He has that flexibility. It's something that he's able to do. It shouldn't be a deal blocker as it relates to the other provisions that are in this legislation.
All right, on another subject, the phase out of incandescent light bulbs begins on January 1st. House Republicans voted to block that over the summer. Is there anything more you can do before this latest encroachment on our freedoms takes effect?
Well, we in the House passed legislation that in essence allows the old light bulbs to continue to be bought and sold in this country. The Senate did not take up that legislation. It's a matter of contention between the House and the Senate as it relates to the funding for a number of appropriations, a number of different spending bills. We'll see how that plays out before the end of the week. But the House staked out its position. We passed by voice vote a provision that allows the old light bulbs to continue. And from my perspective, I'd like to see that provision stand the way that we passed it here in the House way back at the beginning of the summer.
And finally, please tell us a little bit about your new website, American Job Creators.
Well, look, jobs is the #1 issue across the country. And we're looking for ways to help businesses, large and small, be able to create jobs to get out of this rut that we're in. We need tax reform that we certainly do. And I know that Dave Camp, chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, really wants to embark on that as we look this year, but lowering the tax rates, eliminating a lot of the deductions. But we want to reach out to businesses for ideas. Regulations, where are the regulations too tough in terms of competition from around not only the country, but around the rest of the world. Headlines today in the front page of the USA Today talked about electricity prices increasing by $300 per household. We want to, if we're going to be competitive with the rest of the world, we want to not have so many regulations that really do steer jobs someplace else.
Michigan Congressman Fred Upton, thank you so much, sir.
You bet.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.